All right, welcome to the Dade County Workshop Agenda. This is the Dade County Board of Commissioners regular meeting held the first Thursday of each month, and at this time we'll have approval of the agenda as prepared. Would all commissioners take a look at that? Are there any changes to the agenda?
I concur.
All right, hearing none, agenda will stand approved as presented. Approval of the previous meeting minutes. All commissioners have been furnished copies of those in advance. I believe that included workshop, special call meeting, regular April meeting, 2 public hearings, and 2 TDAG meetings. Any changes or amendments to those? Hearing none, we'll add that to consent agenda for approval. Review of the personnel status report tonight, and let's see here. We have one of those is filled tonight, but I'll let Carrie introduce a new person here in a moment. We have one in building maintenance, person that she left us to, unfortunately, has to go give some caregiving to her parent, I believe. And one in 911? Nope, you're filled. Okay, you're good. And then we had 2 in public works. Have they been filled? You don't know? Okay, I'm not sure either. So we have a few positions available out there. If you're interested, you can find those applications online and or just come in the office and pick up an application. I'm pretty sure we have at least 1 in the road department, if not 2. And it seems like we always have 1 or 2 in the jail/sheriff's office, but they deal with their own. All right. Any questions on the personnel status report?
No.
All right. We'll consider that approved. Put that placed on the consent agenda for approval. Proclamations for tonight. We have a proclamation for, it's a joint proclamation with the City of Trenton and the Dade County Board of Commissioners to proclaim Law Enforcement Appreciation Week. I read this on Tuesday at an event down here at the court facility, and that is to recognize Law Enforcement Week, May 10th through the 16th, and more particularly, we had a Law Enforcement Appreciation Day this past Tuesday, May the 5th. Any questions on that? All right. We have Foster Care Month for the month of May 2026, and that is family serving as primary source of love, identity, self-esteem, and support. It's the very foundation of our communities and our state. In Dade County, there are 14 children and youth in foster care being provided with a safe, secure, and stable home, along with compassion and nurture of a foster family. So we want to recognize all foster care families in Dade County specifically, but also throughout the state, and we will recognize that as the entire month.
And I just want to say that foster care is very challenging, but it's rewarding. You know, because you're getting young children that have some dynamics, right, before they came to you, but you just work your way through it, right, and it gives them a better life, and I admire and I thank everybody that gets involved in it.
Yes, sir. Also, we have National Day of Prayer, which is actually today. So I think there's been some ceremonies held locally as well as statewide and nationally, but today is recognized as the county-wide Day of Prayer, and call upon all citizens to pray in thanksgiving for our freedoms and blessings. To ask God for His guidance. I think my mic just went in and out. All right. We also have a proclamation to honor all Dade County veterans, past and present, by celebrating Armed Forces Day, the 3rd Saturday of May. We were in a meeting last Friday, yeah, and didn't realize it, but Chattanooga held their Armed Forces Day parade, so we got to see a parade while we were waiting to go into our meeting. And downtown, which was really nice. And
Don, they do that every year. They do a very good job.
They did. It was wonderful, and I think it's maybe one, if not the oldest, recognized parades in the nation
Oh, it
for
says
Armed
that.
Forces Day.
Yeah, the nation's
pretty-
longest continuous parade.
Pretty
Yep.
neat. So, but we would also here recognize May 16th as Armed Forces Day and call for the celebration of the day in such manner as to honor the armed forces of the United States of America, the millions of veterans who have returned to civilian pursuits. All right, and we also have a proclamation for National Travel and Tourism Week 2026. And the Board of Commissioners recognizes that as May the 3rd through the 9th, as this week, as National Travel and Tourism Week in Dade County, and urge the citizens of Trenton, Dade County to join us in recognizing critical role in this industry and how it plays a role in Dade County as well as the city of Trenton. If you weren't aware, Dade County saw an increase in visitor tourism of 17.4%. That equates to 1.4 million in the state and local revenues, and saving each Dade County household $222 on taxes last year. So that is a great thing to recognize. Any question on any of those proclamations? Okay, hearing none, we'll approve those as presented and add them to the consent agenda. All right, under number 5, we have approval of SPLOST. If anything, I don't believe we have any SPLOST purchases tonight, but we do have a report, an update from our Robert Roberts, who is our contractor overseeing the new elections building. And so if you've not been by, it's behind the Bank of Dade on the way to the transfer station on Georgia Avenue. I think it's, and it's, the pictures we've got there are already out of date. It has a roof on it. The trusses
moving along,
were
man.
placed last Friday, I think he said. And unfortunately, it rained, so the rain did get on the interior a little bit, but it's all concrete. It's still fine. And they've had absolutely spectacular weather, and it's really progressing fast. And they hope to have the roofing here pretty soon, right? Within a week or so, I believe. So they're doing the facade, some of the facade at the top, and the stuff like that. So.
And we all appreciate the weekly updates that we get from them.
Yeah.
It keeps us well informed. We know the status. It's a good thing.
Could drive by, see what's going on, yeah.
Right, so they've got storefronts, install frames, actually starting next week, brick and stuff actually may begin, some masonry on the west elevation between now and the 21st, as well as the east elevation. Actually, it's all brick will start around the building. And then mechanical and duct work will start May 6th through the 19th. Framing continues, the vapor barrier has been installed, and the interior framing again will continue. Actually, it's pretty much complete, but on the framing. But they're doing a great job, and we do really appreciate the updates. Any questions on that? All right. Number 6 is the request for proposal. That was a 2026-05 Dade County, Georgia EMS Zone Emergency Ambulance Service, which is Alex Case, 911 Director, and Kyle Gross, Chief Dade County EMS. If y'all want to come forward and talk to us a little bit about that while you're coming. I know that we did publish a request for proposal back in March. And so we've been working on this. They worked on this, 2-3 months worth of work prior to that, putting the proposal together. It was issued in March, and then on March 30th, it was open for about 30 days, I think, the process. Then we had a bid opening on Monday, March 30th, later that afternoon at 2:10. All these things are public bid openings. They're all been placed online, and had several companies, and he's going to talk to us about that, who submitted those. So go ahead, Alex.
Alrighty, we again had the proposals that went out, done the opening, and we opened them up, and we can met with each one of you commissioners to kind of go over this, the proposals before tonight, so we can go through that again, with the public. And we went with, 4 different companies, provided proposals on 2 options that actually 3 options, but one of them was where that provider could provide both ambulances and all the hard equipment, which is the stretchers, the monitors, backboards, everything that they need to run with, plus continuing their soft supplies and all their fuel and repairs and maintenance on their vehicles. Option B was currently using our ambulances that we've acquired through grants and SPLOST, and all the hard supplies as well, and they would provide the soft supplies, the fuel, and reimburse us on our maintenance with our county shop. It's currently what we do with the current provider. Option C was anything else in between, if they felt like giving us something with that. So we can go over what come in, and we can give you the pricing of way they come in based on way we opened them. But we put the spreadsheet that you have in front of you based from low to high. So our first provider was AmeriPro Health. They bid option A for $201,756, which was them providing the ambulances and all the equipment. Option B was also $201,756. And then they bid an option C for a 24-hour truck and a 12-hour truck, which we know that will not handle our capacity that we have. We looked at that, and in our investigations, we found some discrepancies in some of the wording that didn't sound like they went forth and really put in what we need. And then through our due diligence looking at that, just seen there were probably some issues with that.
And the thing about it is, if they had the same cost for 2 options where they have their trucks and we're providing trucks, that's a concern.
It is.
Right? So I surely don't want to put the health of our citizens in their hands.
Yeah.
You know?
So, and some of the wording in the proposal A that they gave us caught us pretty quick. So that's the first one. The second one was Common Spirit Health, which is CHI, which we currently have. Option A for them to provide the trucks was $1,191,328 a year. These prices we're giving as yearly prices. Option B is to currently do what we're doing now with them was $1,047,578. And option C, they did not bid anything on option C for 0. The third one we opened up was AMR. They bid for option A for them to provide their equipment and all hard supplies and soft and maintenance was $832,378. Option B for to use our current equipment was $756,337, and no option for C. The last one we opened was Puckett EMS. Option A was $795,000 a year. Option B was $595,000 a year, and then option C was $695,000, and that was a mix of different things as well that would be some equipment of ours, some of theirs, and we just looked at that and said, well, it's an idea. So that was our 4 proposals that come in the order that we opened them as they come in. And before you was a spreadsheet that we met with each of you with. We also, Madam Clerk emailed that to you again last night with some final touch-ups we've had. And we even broke down the fees that they charge the taxpayers or the customers that they pick up, and looked at different options with that. And you can see the breakdown of ALS 1 emergency, ALS 2 emergency, which stands for advanced life support. BLS is basic life support fees. There's mileage rates. There's different rates for over so many miles. And then some of them actually had annual increases on some of that as well. Again, this is just a proposal that was given to us based on the options. And we've labeled them from the low number to the high number. And you see the 4 there that we have and where we are with those right now.
if I'm reading this right, for an ambulance pickup, right, for 911 will be $2,300? Is that,
That's what we call the ALS
Yeah,
one
right.
for that call, yes,
I
sir.
just want to make sure I'm reading this correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I got to connect the dots here. We're purchasing ambulances too, correct?
Yes, sir, that is in a grant that Chief Gross brought to y'all a
Yes.
few months ago.
I'm just
Yes,
trying to
sir.
connect all the dots up here,
Yes,
right?
sir. There's another thing tonight for that we'll go into.
Oh, okay, all right.
I think it's in, I'm not sure which, it's in the agenda there. But that is a 14-month plus wait 14 to 18 months once we get that
10.
signed.
Yeah, it's number 9 on here. I just wanted to, right, so, but that's separate from this.
That's correct.
I just want to make sure I'm tracking.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Now, we both spent a good bit of time in different sections, so if I'm looking at Kyle, it's because he spent more time on it. We just kind of tag teamed and went through things and emailed these folks and met with some as well. A couple of them are here tonight, Puckett EMS, and I believe AMR is here. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
You have a question?
A question, yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, and in AMR, they say includes operations manager, right? Puckett does not, but I assume somewhere, someone has to manage all this, right? So how does that work, gentlemen?
They have a local region in Chattanooga.
Okay,
They have several that will be, most of them have somebody already in that area. Both of them are agencies work out of Chattanooga,
okay,
but wouldn't have a full-time designated here, but will be overseen by somebody out of one of their operations.
okay.
That's correct. My name is Joe Dunn, I'm Vice President. I'm from the Chattanooga area, and I'll help oversee this region.
Okay. Thank you.
So one thing to note here is, so the general public knows what's happening. We're in our 6th year of our current contract with Common
Spirit
Spirit,
Health.
formerly known as CHI, which we all know is Memorial Hospital downtown. CHI had their own ambulance service. Now they go by Common Spirit Health. And so that was what, a 3-year contract with three
One-year
one-year
automatic
renewals.
Yeah.
Right.
Either party could negotiate out 120 days prior to
Right,
that. Yeah.
right. And so Walker County, also at the same time, we've been kind of on the same schedule probably for more than a decade or so, and I guess, or maybe a little more than a decade. And a lot of times, it benefited a company that Walker and Dade were kind of together. I mean, we share Lookout Mountain, and therefore somewhat similar zones. Back when we changed, we went with a contract that was right at $33,333 a month, right?
That's currently right now, yes, sir.
Yeah, current. And so that's $400,000 a year. Now that's an expensive contract to the people, right? But we want to always make sure that whoever shows up, if you make a phone call to the 911 and dispatch an ambulance, that they show up, they have a truck that's going to make it, they have a quality staff that's going to assist, and sometimes take you to the hospital. Sometimes it may just be a lift assist. I've had that personally in my family at least 4 times actually, where we had to have EMS folks come out, and sometimes first responders also come out, and they assist with just a lift. They always want to transport you to the hospital, but it's up to the patient, right? Typically, almost always up to the patient and the family. And if there's no major concern, then there's typically not even a charge in that situation. Some of these companies on here have basically stated, well, they've stated through their proposal that there's a lot of charges when it comes to that. Now, I know Puckett's here. Did you say AMR is
Yeah,
also
back here in
here?
the back.
Okay, yeah. I don't think that's the case with these 2 companies represented here. I will say this about Common Spirit. I mean, we've had a good relationship with them for years, but they have chosen to submit a bid, or a proposal, I should say, of $1,047,578, whereas it was $400,000. That's a 261% increase. That's a big increase, even over a 6-year period. That's a lot of money. And so that really plays in, from my budgeting standpoint, that's too much. It was just too big of a jump, 261% for 1 year. Even if they were doing everything perfectly and right, that's just too much. The AMR came in. I think we're all talking about option B here, so that's the only ones I'm reviewing. It's $756,377, and then Puckett was $595,000 flat. And so, for instance, Puckett's, that's a difference of course, let's see, that's $49,583 per month versus $33,333. That's a $16,250 increase, but that's a whole lot more manageable, than looking back at Common Spirit. And I haven't done the math on AMR, but again, that's a significant increase to $756,000. Now, Alex and Kyle both came to the commission after they opened these bids in March. We had the bid opening that day, the public bid opening. They came to each commissioner and went over this about, 3 weeks ago, I guess. They sat with you independently and went over this, all these proposals and all the numbers. And so we want everybody to know that we've had this for 3 weeks. I mean, we've actually had it for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was gonna
technically, if you want to, because March 30th, I mean, it's May. So we've had a little more than a month and to review, and that's what we're here to do tonight. So what we want to do is go ahead and consider one of these so that we can then further go into contract negotiations with that company. Now, if there is some major failure that happens in that contract discussion midway through, at the end of whatever the process, it's not to say that we couldn't go to another company, or we could scrap it all and do a complete new request for proposal process. We have until February 28th, February 1st?
First to 27.
Yeah, February 1st, 2027,
Actually,
or February 28th,
the
2000.
January 30th, first.
Okay, January 31st, 2027, to accomplish this before a new contract is put in. But the sooner the better, so that we can start, bridging the gap and filling in whatever. Now, we have 2 new ambulances coming. We currently have a fleet of 4 ambulances. We have one is extremely old and has problems, but the other 3 do fare, right?
Very reliable.
They're very reliable.
We got a good shop.
That's right. We have a great shop that's kept these things running for a long time. And we were able to buy 2 during the COVID era, meaning we used CARES Act funds and ARPA, I think, funds to a point to buy 2. And so those are not that old, but when you have an ambulance that runs 24/7 and idles all the time, it ages. So, but anyway, so we have 2 ambulances that through U.S. Senator John Ossoff's office, through a congressional spending bill, we have received word that we are getting $408,000, and that's about half of what it costs to purchase the ambulances, 2 ambulances, and 2 stretchers, 2 called Stryker, and 2 cardiac monitors devices. And so those are the ambulance and those 2 pieces of equipment are pretty much some of the most expensive
That's the
equipment.
hard equipment we talk about.
Yeah, and so we'll talk a little bit more about that later, because we've already approved that grant. We're not here to talk about the 2 trucks, but just to let you know that we are receiving those trucks.
And this money comes from our general fund?
No, SPLOST.
SPLOST.
Yeah,
I'm
and
talking
it's
about this
No.
No,
This is
this
your
money.
fund.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
no,
I'm saying. Not the ambulance, I got that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
ambulance.
This
sure.
is general fund.
Currently
is right.
budgeted as contracted services.
Okay.
Each
Yeah.
month that we pay a monthly bill.
Got
That's
it.
correct.
Okay.
Yes, and so, because it's contract services, that's.
I'm with you.
Yeah, we can't
Okay.
use the funds from SPOS.
Oh, I knew that. I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
talking about this.
You're right, okay. All right, so that's where we are. Let's go through and ask some questions if you've got some.
Well, we kind of discussed everything. I spoke with them a couple times, so to me, the relationship and how they treat people and what they can do is very important, because unfortunately I've been there also. So, we've discussed this over and over again. It's a hard decision to make, but we're here. It's 3 years later, so we got to do it again. I mean, I don't.
There's no penalty for delaying, but there's no penalty with going ahead and let's get this thing on the road.
Right.
So, if the other commissioners are ready, I can be ready to vote too.
Okay. All right, so I just did the math. On AMR, the current difference is, it would be $63,028 per month. That's an increase of $29,694. Of course, Puckett's increase is $16,250. And I can tell you, we've already started the budgeting for this year, and almost all contracted services are up. And so for this to remain as low as it was for a while, that was a great blessing to have, the opportunity to have that. But I didn't even figure $1,047,578, because there's no way we can afford that. So what is your recommendation?
Our recommendation is with Puckett. Again, looking at the budgets and knowing and talking to each one of you, we've had a past experience with them in a prior contract. And was, seeing that they are currently Catoosa County's contract for 911 service, Marion County, Tennessee, that gives us another reliability of backup trucks when we get hammered. It still happens every day. Our volume is not stopping much. A lot of the men and women that we know and that Chief Gross knows is still there. In some of our talks and seeing and recommendations from other agencies to us about that, knowing where we feel comfortable with that. But we still got a lot of talking to do. Again, that's, if you pick one of these proposals to give us that, myself and Chief Gross can meet with them and come up with these final things, and we're going to be doing the best stewards for the county to make sure that we get the service we need, because personality and patient care is number one, because that's our first job, is protect life here in the
All right,
county.
can I clarify the process then?
Go ahead.
All right, so if we say we concur with this future further discussions with Puckett, you'll dialogue with them and then you'll come back to us for a final approval?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then,
We will be asking you to meet again to
Yes.
go over contracts.
yeah, I just wanted to clarify that that's the
In
process.
the past, Robin has got one that we've worked with. We'll have to fine tune that.
Yep.
Get it up to date with some laws.
Okay.
He will be involved heavily.
Right.
As well with whoever we go with, attorney as well.
Okay.
And we will have several sit downs with that.
It's my understanding that we have to vote to approve
The
the
contract.
negotiation.
Yes, that's what I just
Yes.
wanted to clarify.
And if it falls through, then we just
Start over again. All right,
Yes, sir.
fair enough.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the way I understand it.
Yes, sir, 100%.
Good.
All right. So we have a recommendation to approve Puckett EMS for option B, $595,000, as recommended to proceed the negotiations of a contract. Are we all in agreement?
Yes.
Concur?
Another thing that both of us done is we thought about all the people that's here working for, a lot of Dade Countyans here, is looking at the rates of pays and what that is, and that's something we've worked hard with. And whoever the provider will be working with those folks, because they need them as well. to help with that. So that's been a concern with a lot of folks, and we've been really, that's been another one of our due diligence that we're working with as well.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, next agenda item, we have, any other questions before I move on? Hearing none, resolution R-27-26, it's disposal of surplus county property, and this comes to us from New Salem Fire Department. That is for a 1988 Chevrolet Model C 6500. If you've not seen it, it may be old, but it looks really nice. It's an old, I mean, right, Rodney? I mean, y'all kept it clean. It's red. The titles read, it is clean title, and so they are asking to dispose of that from our capital asset listing. And any questions on the disposal of it as capital asset?
No.
All right. Then we will add that consent agenda. I will say this, and Rodney, if you have anything to add or any questions to Rodney. New Salem Fire Department would like to donate that to the Tri-Community Fire Department at Flat Rock. We do that from time to time. We have accepted, and it's legal to do that. Once it's declared surplus property, I have absolutely no problem with that as well.
Yeah, that's what they,
And because what we've done, we've accepted things as donated property, specifically from the state of Georgia, most of the time from like the parks, state parks, and different people, things that we can use, and this is something that they can use, and they have provided backup assistance and mutual aid to the county, specifically, of course, on Sand Mountain region. So that's what we would recommend doing. Any questions about that?
And I think we should support Flat Rock, no doubt about it.
All right. Okay, moving on. So we'll add that to consent agenda for approval. Resolution R-28-26 is radio communication tower lease agreement with Georgia Forestry. This is something that we do with different groups. This comes to us through Georgia Forestry, and what this is again, like a repeater that's on a tower that they have placed on our tower, and so they provide a $10 lease per year, state fiscal year, and so beginning 2028 and set to expire. The renewals are on an annual basis, so any time we would like to get out of it, we could, but it runs through 2034. Any questions on that? No. All right. All right. Here now, we'll add that to consent agenda for approval. Resolution R-29-26, approval of a lease purchase agreement, and that's for the two Fraser ambulances for E911. And so what this is we have two different lease agreements listed in here, if I can get to it. One is from Lease One Magnolia, LLC, of Louisville, Kentucky, and that is actually a partner of ACCG, which is Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, and the other lease is called Leasing Two. This is the company that they meaning the Fraser has typically used for financing. Now, on the one that's on the screen right now, the stuff that's over here where it says Fraser, you can just mark that out because Stryker, we're not looking at option 4, 5, or 6. It is option 1, 2, or 3, and this is option 1 is what I would recommend. It is a 5-year lease. It's at 4.89%, and let's see here. The other lease is with again, let's see, Lease One Magnolia, LLC. It's for the same amount, a 5-year lease, but its rate is at 4.37%. Of course, both of these are tax exempt rates, and they are on a 5-year period. So you may say, why do we want to lease something when we're getting a grant for it? Well, we only got a grant for 50% of it. And before you can access that final 50%, you have to pay out the first 50%, and actually, you have to finance or pay out the entire amount in order to do that. And so, that, because we are building the elections building right now, I do not want us to be put in a situation where our hands are tied in case we did have a tornado or any kind of major something happen, that we would just not have any available funds at all. And so because this would completely wipe us out, I don't think that's a very wise thing to do. And I don't like paying any interest, but I would suggest that by next year, the elections building will be or very closely paid off, maybe with a less 2 to 10%, with those final little things that will be outstanding. But we'll be in a much better position to just pay it off at that time. But it just buys you time. The money is allocated, the money is budgeted already. We will have the money. We collect about $320,000 to $350,000 per month. So we could do it, but I don't feel comfortable doing it. I'm just letting you know up front that I just don't think it would be a wise move to tie up that kind of money on a piece of equipment that we won't get, we know, until next year.
And there's no type of prepayment penalty.
And
So if it gets paid off early, we just pay it off early.
That's right. There's no prepayment penalty on it. Now, of course, I would suggest, one was 4.89 versus 4.37. I would suggest going with a 4.37% rate on their amortization schedule. So, any questions about that?
OSOS money goes into the general fund.
It does. Also, the grant that we've been awarded through the congressional spending bill has to go into the general fund. So that's where the money would go into to later be paid out.
We would pay it out of the general fund too.
Yeah, right.
Well,
We would pay that portion out of the general fund too. We can pay out of both the general fund and SPOS.
so the money we get on SPOSH goes to the other 50% payments.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
But if I understand correctly, we have to pay everything out before we'll ever get a reimbursement from
Right.
them. So we would have to pay the full
Right.
800 and something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's through a USDA, isn't it USDA? I believe it's USDA process, and because of that, they require that 100% be paid out, and I don't blame them. Otherwise, you'd have people doing this all the time, so.
Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
You got any just wild guesses how much interest that would be?
Well, it's, hold on. I can figure it real quick. Hold on, I can tell you, hold on.
Not on my webpage at that. Oh,
It's,
wait,
$27,788.48.
But we're not gonna amortize it out for 5 years.
No, it's
No.
$85,000 if we did the
if we
full
did-
5 years.
Yeah.
That's just
So we
maybe
wouldn't do the full 5.
15 months maybe or something.
That what?
I said we wouldn't hold this the full 5 years.
It'd be
Yeah.
like
But if we
15.
did know,
Yeah. If we did.
If we did, it's $85,740. Right. But there's once we have the money in hand, we'll be coming up on the end of the SPOS, and since it's already been voted on and designated, once we collect it, we need to spend it and get it off the books.
I would like to see that it's paid off and another project has the check mark that it's done.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Okay. Any other questions? We'll add that to the consent agenda for approval. And then the number 10 is Resolution R-30-26, and that is approval for a lease purchase agreement for the ambulance equipment for E911. It's the same
It's the same thing.
situation. This is just the equipment for those two things, which we are describing as Stryker medical equipment, which is the, what do you call it? A stretcher. It's a lift system. They hold a lot of weight. upwards of 600+ pounds, right? 800 to 900 pounds. And you may think that never happens, but it does, and it has. And if you've ever had to lift somebody up, these guys that are in EMS here could all tell you, probably not a great situation. And so anyway, that is, again, the same situation, but Stryker themselves can finance that directly. And so that's what this is doing. So, any questions on that one?
No.
Again, we would pay it out next year. All right. Okay. And we'll add that consent agenda for approval. Any other business? All right, that's great. Hearing none, we will stand in recess of this meeting and then re-adjourn here at 15 till.
Still up there.
I carried a